Sharing about the mother-daughter relationship from Harriet Lerner, we know the intensity and reactivity forms patterns. The lowering gives room for new. So when we lower the intensity and the reactivity, we can have a new relating pattern. Mother is an impossibly loaded role that doesn't allow for a personal, complicated history. And intergenerational trauma, which could be anything from cutoffs, patriarchal God pedestaling the mother into a box where she can only fall, disappoint or lose, irreconcilable family disagreements about issues or immigrations. We end up with mother blaming, which gives too much power to the mother. So many factors determine who we become, and maturity is like, let the mother off the hook. Give her permission to be a human, exactly who she is, how she is, not change or fix her entirely, not de-selfing. Speak to the differences, define who I am with authentic voice, feeling, thoughts, viewpoint. For example, I see it differently. Let me tell you how I see it. Choosing when to stand like an oak and when to bend like grass. Emotional reactivity and defensiveness make it impossible to be curious and learn about my mother or you about your mother, because I've taken it really too personally. So some steps are, first, self-protection. These are boundaries. As soon as it's too demeaning or painful, means we don't have to cut off right away. The distance or the temperature, and like the temporary element to it, right? Number two, hard conversations we can be approaching with creativity. The angry confrontation, which protects the other, versus if we choose, we could set limits. Then three, if we choose, we could set the limits. So enjoy being creative in the heart. Creativity, when we become creative, we become creative. It's not like we give our creativity away. So when we choose to be creative, even about difficult discussions, believe me, I have it too with my mom. 4, we can cut off if necessary. I want to talk about now going in deeper, like into womanhood, activated womanhood. What is forgiving our own virginity, forgiving our own hairiness, like the masculine womanhood. My connection to my womanhood is a natural radiance and magnetism. When I receive the energy from the partner and environment that can get stuck, it causes a blockage. And there's a yes-no compass from subtle listening, an inner smile with the right hand on the heart, the left hand on the womb. Eventually, if we do this enough, we can actually start to feel pain or neglect, and also being sorry to the vagina for not being in love with her, the power and vulnerability, opening, receptive, like a vessel. They use the word yoni, I think, in other cultures, but it's about the sacred temple. It's a source. It's a holy. We were born from there, and it's the portal of the body where life can become manifest. So this warm, welcoming, inviting, accepting part of me is priceless and divine, creative life force energy that gives way to literal generation, birthing of love, healing into the physical world, and honoring that tenderness and privacy of my intimacy, not sharing it with everyone and calling it love. This is like knowing that the vagina stores the emotions, whether it's the end of cramping, too much bleeding, or pelvic floor tightness, or not orgasming, or PMSing. None of those are required anymore. We get to choose where to invest our nurture carefully with discernment. And then think of like children, having a child, the womanhood. I want to have a child, I think, or I admit now I can choose a man who is also pure and gentle too. As a daughter of God, princess of nature, embracing my femininity, content with my wholeness, I'm precious. My presence alone, I'm here to bring in love into the world, birthing it. I'm ready to accept what I do matters, and I'm never alone. The true life force, the true source, the true. That's my privilege to know who I am. It's nothing external. It's not sound bites. It's a direct experience, the covenant, life through the feminine. I honor my womb. Who comes in or out? Only God truly knows, like a uterus offering, space to blossom through gifting, maturity, willing to be unconditional in the ways I am able. And then turning into like relationships, evolutionary relationships. I'm a servant of God, a defense attorney for God's children. Until I return into the earth land, I have a verdant spirit, a sacred longing to transfigure, transform, transmutate. I am strong for me and everyone else. Patricia Albere talks about true love being relentlessly humbling, reducing our defenses, shattering magnificently the plans and ideas. The unconscious inner constructs that create separation are destroyed. And it displays the vulnerabilities and evokes an ambivalent yes to life. An unambivalent yes to life. It's consciously created connection that is formed between two or more people who mutually commit to explore and develop higher states of perception and awareness together, which is a commitment really to developing higher potentials individually and together through a vehicle of collaborative, synergizing relating. As we accept red and blue is purple and never green, Because some relationships have skylights opening to the cosmic realms, and some have ceilings. And in this, like in looking at romantic relationships, we can see it as mirrors of the dynamic that our parents set up, where we get to be seen by willing others the way they saw us, a source of pain or a burden, annoying, insensitive, selfish, disobedient, unworthy, inadequate, or insignificant. And we have to regard ourselves directly instead of avoiding intimacy because we regarded ourselves as a source of pain. The animus is the unconscious masculine and the feminine. And the anima, the unconscious feminine and the masculine, can just be patriarchy, men seeking non-mortals who can only disappoint, and women hating their humanity through men. When we look for the unpleasant role, it's the one compared to everyone, the unwanted, the one who has to be perfect or isn't, a lost victim who doesn't know better, someone to give up on, a lost cause, a bulldozer who doesn't know boundaries, a difficult challenge under pretty wrapping, and an object to be used or manipulated. What I get is what I believe I deserve, because my unhappiness is I believe and want something bad for myself. Fear of being unhappy and blank, not fear of being blank. Oops. Seeing people with more agency over my perception and fulfillment is like the thrill of invention or play yielded, even if we don't think we like our creation. Like, let's say I think I'm shameful or disgusting. I can see myself and others as fictional matter, the story I made up, and the child parents will relate to kids as if they're being imposed on rather than as seeing something bigger in the transpersonal picture. There's an attachment to being a victim, attachment to being the ego, the body, versus looking at like the pus or the blood of the river, wishing it was water, versus the wish fulfillment gem of being capable of all satisfactions, knowing that we created this pus and this blood for ourselves and enjoy this impressive creativity. Instead of the terrifying our own mortality and divinity simultaneously, the protective ego and violation, violence, threats, establishing status relative to others and comparing our own strength and worth to others, feeling weak, without integrity, helpless and lacking, means that we're reactive and projecting the security and strength, the fearless wholeness onto someone, and then turning them into us on the hurtful one, like with obligation and guilting and entitlement. This is like addiction, despairing over not being able to fulfill our desires leads us to console ourselves, with compensation that we repress in ourselves. The polarity creates room for us to reconcile our power with our need. And all-powerful evildoer kind of versus the helpless, whimpering, pathetic person, the diabolical, thrown from self and heaven into hell, the symbolical, thrown together, whole. We have the sadist and the masochist. The devil is the beast plus the captive. That's how we heal our psyche to wholeness, meaning we render the diabolical as the symbol, that which was thrown from self, and heaven to hell, with the underworld, the unconscious, and knowing that it's a symbol, we are thrown together, we're whole, the light and the dark. We are the undying consciousness with only changing forms, and can master these paths of integration from their unrequited love, absence of commitment, locked out of heaven, seeing self as lacking, seemingly no suitable partner, scarcity, other is a source of pain or object, being or pretending to be dangerous, pleasure of importance, or the controlled joy of being wronged, humiliated, and feeling turned on by all variants of possibility. This is like the work we can do. And I'll stop here and wish you a beautiful evening. I'm probably going to record another video tonight because tomorrow's the Friday before the Sabbath and it's a very short day and I may not have time to record a video. Bye now.